Hey guys, in today's video, you've heard about this process. You've asked me about this process. I've even watched videos on this process and asked around as well. Today, that's right, it is 100% untrimmed brisket. We are not touching this thing at all other than to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Today, we're gonna be cooking it on the Traeger grill. Now, because I really don't have a lot of prep other than salt and pepper, let's head out, get the grill fired up. Well, we'll go ahead and top it off with our Ace Reserve Blend pellets, and then we're gonna set the temperature today for 300 degrees. That's right, we're gonna cook a little bit hotter today, go a little bit faster, as we also have a little bit more fat to deal with as well. So we'll get it all set, and we are ready to go. Our ingredients today are gonna be very simple. We have a 14-pound prime packer brisket, and I'm not gonna do anything to it, so we literally have a 14-pound prime packer brisket. Keeping it super simple today, I'm gonna use oil as a binder, salt and pepper to season this up, and then once we reach that magical spot, 165, 170, a little bit of butcher paper to wrap it up, get it all rocking and rolling, and take this thing to a maximum beautiful doneness. Okay, well, like I said, we are not doing any trimming today, so let's go ahead and we're gonna add a little bit of oil to the top just to help as a binder. And then, like I said, keeping it simple, we're gonna hit it with some salt. We're gonna let this sit on here for a little bit. We'll even pack it on just a little bit. We're gonna give it a nice heavy coating of salt as well. And then, like I said, we'll go ahead and pack that on, and then we'll go ahead and hit it with that cracked black pepper. Simple today. We are gonna let the flavor of this brisket do its thing. So we'll season the top side, we'll flip it over, season the back side, let it sit for a little bit, and then it's out to the grill. All right, we are preheated. We'll go ahead and add our brisket on there. I'm gonna put that right in the middle. Now, couple different ways you could track temperature while cooking brisket. You could use your Traeger thermometer, come on out every hour or hour and a half, 2 hours, and track temp. You could use the Meter Plus probe, which is gonna work with your phone, or today, we're gonna use the Traeger X Meter probe, because that now will give us a little bit of temperature visibility on the Traeger app. When it comes time to add that meter probe or the wired probe that comes with your Traeger, one of the things you wanna make sure is I don't add it into a pocket of fat. So I'm gonna go right into the flat area, and I'm gonna get that buried in there nicely so I get a really good average temperature. But again, like I said, I don't wanna get in a fat pocket, which will give me a false reading. Now that we have the brisket all loaded, time to close the lid, time to start cooking this. Now, I have to be honest, I won't even come back and check this for probably 3 hours, but the beauty is I'm gonna track its temp on the Traeger app. So as we get close to that 165, 170, we'll come back and give it a check. Timer just went off, we hit 170. Let's get it in, time to get it wrapped. All right, it is time to wrap. I've got my butcher paper set. Now, here's the funny thing about this process you're going to witness. I can't wrap presents to save my life. Literally looks like I wrapped them with my toes. Now, this on the other hand, this brisket wrapping, magical. So, what I did is I have the meter probe up. What I'm gonna do is envelope wrap this, right? So that means I'm gonna fold that side in, this side in, this side in, and then that side just like that. Now what I'm going to do, flip this guy over, leave my probe in, we're going back on the Traeger. We're gonna take this to 204, 205 degrees, but more importantly, we're gonna check for tenderness. So back onto the Traeger, once we get up in that 203, 4, 5 range, we're gonna start probing this for tenderness. Then when we're done, time to rest, time to slice, see how this no trim brisket turned out. All right, here we go, back onto the Traeger, looking nice and pretty. Okay, well, as you can see, our probe goal has reached 200. Now, I set it at 200 degrees because I thought I'm gonna come out here and check for tenderness and see where we're at on this brisket. So let's open up the Traeger, see where we're at for tenderness. I always love to use my Traeger wired probe to check tenderness because it allows me to get in there. And here's what I'm finding out. Look at how easy that inserts. Look at how easy that pulls. And I'll tell you what, I'm not sure what's going on here, but that brisket definitely feels like we are done. I'm looking at tenderness today because what we know about brisket is, yes, we cook to a certain temperature, but we also check for tenderness and doneness. This thing looks like it's done. So we're gonna take it off the Traeger, let it rest in a cooler for about an hour and see where we're at. But yeah, it's a pretty wild method so far. All right, I put a couple towels down. Here we are back inside the kitchen. I'm gonna go ahead and add that brisket into my Yeti. And yeah, we're gonna close it We are going to let this sit for an hour. We'll come back and check it after an hour rest. See where we're at. All right, well, here we are after 9.5 hours of cooking and 1 hour of resting, total of 10.5 hours. It ended up finishing right up to 204, carried over in that cooler quite nicely. We checked the probe tenderness. That looked amazing. But I'll tell you what, there's only one way to see if our first attempt at no trim brisket turned out. So come in close. We're going to do the unveiling. We'll show you how we unwrap it, cut in here, check a few slices, do a little tasting. Are you nervous? Are you a little bit nervous? Because I am. All right, let's do it. Come on in close. All right, here we go. Let's cut right into the middle. Take a look at that and see what we look like. I would say that looks pretty solid, right? We'll do the obligatory push on it and watch the juices squish out of there, but that is absolutely crazy. So I'm blown away. Like, I'm literally blown away at how wonderful and juicy and delicious that is. And watch, look at that. Just literally falls apart. Now, a little bit of fat cap to take off, but tell you what, this doesn't disappoint at all. Not a bad day's work here in the studio at all. I'll tell you what, I have to be super honest. I am blown away at how amazing this brisket came out. I mean, the flavor is solid. We cut a thick piece. We still have that limp brisket, and I'll tell you what, it just falls apart. I have some shredded, I have some sliced, and I am ready to go. Huge fan of this process. We'll definitely be doing it again. Now, if you don't like this process and you're thinking, that guy's nuts, stay tuned, because coming up, we've got another video that's going to show you how to make a trimmed brisket on your Traeger grill. But until then, I mean, seriously, it might be the best brisket I've made today.